Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Black Nerd Talk. I'm Bonbon623 and I have my co-host.
Dre Day every day.
And today we're going to be talking about movie franchises. I'm going to go ahead and add TV franchises in there too that have overstayed their welcome.
Yeah, and I was thinking about what I also wanted to talk about
Mhm.
is movies that wait 1,000 years to put out their sequel. Like, bro, that that's to me overstaying. Like, some stuff is better as a one-off. Like,
Yeah.
don't make a sequel for something that came out in 1966 and it's 2023. You know.
hmm Now, of course, the first thing on everybody's mind is absolutely the Fast series.
Fast and the
Because it started out one way. It used to be about racing, you guys, back in yesteryear, if you were there.
hmm Now it's
Fast and
about
Furious used to be about racing cars for pink slips. Now that
right,
means if you win the race, you win that person's car.
right. And then somewhere in the middle, like around Fast Four, Fast Five, when I actually like around the Fast Five, Fast Six, it kind of turned into like a heist film type, kind of like the Italian Job and the Bank Job, where they were pulling big money high. I actually like that run, but now it seems like this is Avengers, Transformers,
Like, were they
superhero.
in space? Are they going to space? I swear they're doing.
Yeah, I think they had a car that went in the
It's
space.
just it suddenly is like ludicrous. He used to work in like a chop shop, I think, or a body shop, but
Yeah.
now he's like a master hacker.
Yeah. And they had that one dude that I think he had crashed and died and then they brought him back.
Yes, I watched a whole breakdown where they had to like undo that because they were like, oh no, we kind of still want him in the story, so we got to go back and say like
Yeah.
that was a decoy hologram.
Dra-
And it,
Dragon Ball Dragon Ball Z shit.
you know, it's absurd. And all of it just because Paul Walker, God rest his soul, said that he wanted to do this for 10 franchises. Now, he said that back then.
Right.
Not, I just don't feel like in the today of things he would have stuck to that. I feel like he would have been like, hey, guys, it's been great. But
Well, you know, I think the way Paul Walker and Vin Diesel's relationship is, if Vin Diesel wanted to do it, Paul Walker would have came through for it. But maybe it would have stayed more grounded. Maybe Paul Walker could have got through to him to say, "Hey, let's not do that. Let's not
man,
do this."
I don't know. It's just not even the same story anymore. And I'll even tie this back into video games. Have you
Okay.
heard of the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
It
so
started out one
that
way, right?
what? Yeah, so now it's toys and it's books, and now I don't even know where the games are now.
I don't know who these people I watch every time Matt Pat from the Game Theorist puts out a new theory on Five Nights at Freddy's. And I don't know who these characters are anymore. I don't know what's happening with the story anymore. I'm a big Five Nights fan. I have fan art merch of Five Nights at Freddy's. I used to be dialed in. I do not know who these people are anymore. It is absurd. There's like sister location and like other shit, and I'm tired. I'm tired.
Yeah, and see, look, if I pull it back to movies, like even with me being a Spider-Man fan, they they got me with let me see, 2002 Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire, 2004 Tobey Maguire, 2007 Tobey Maguire. Then it was like 2012, 2010, 2012. It's somewhere between the 2010 and 2014. The two Andrew Garfield movies happened. And then from like 2015 to I can't remember when, that might have been 2022 when, what was that last one? The one with Doctor Strange.
Was that the one where they all did the point?
No Way Home.
Yeah.
Yeah, No Way Home. Yeah. Now, they did something and play with the multiverse to make it all make sense. But I'm saying, I remember as it was happening, that burned me out
Mm.
because Spider Man is my favorite superhero. I'm like, I didn't like the fact that they were changing the guys up because I'm old fashioned. I come from the era where the guy stays dedicated to the role.
Mhm.
But then they did something that makes sense to the comics. But I'm just saying, as it was happening, that did burn me out.
Mhm.
So that what have you had a deer franchise that was once the how do you feel about Harry Potter? Do you think they drug that out too far, the movies? Or
Yes,
it's
but the Harry Potter books was seven in the whole series.
right,
And so that could have just been seven movies and called it a day. But they, at
right,
that point, they had got to, when it comes to the last movie, they like to break it up and get like two movies out of it when it
right,
doesn't make sense. So
right,
in the first part of the last book, they were just kind of running around in the forest, and the movie was kind of that. And we don't need that in a movie. We read about it. It was filler. It had to happen that way, but like visually, we don't need to see them trapezing through the forest from location. It's fine.
right.
We get it. It could have been one movie, but I'm really going to tell you about Breaking Dawn right now. We're in Twilight Land. Join me.
Wait a minute. So this is where Harry Potter is today in 2023.
No, that's finished. They finished
Oh,
it.
okay,
Mhm.
okay.
So, and they finished Twilight too, but Twilight is another book series that was four books long. Okay.
Hmm.
Five movies out of it because in the last book they wanted to make two movies. Now, let me tell you how they shouldn't have done this. Because that is another series where they was doing a whole lot of running around, trying to meet people, trying to do this, that, and the third shit that you don't care about when you're reading it and you don't care to
Right,
watch it. Right.
right,
Now, it was amazing when Bella like is transforming into a vampire and shit like that, right? What the
right.
second part should have been is her being a vampire, but it wasn't. It was them running around doing a bunch of bullshit that we didn't ask for.
But so they changed the source. That's what I hate when they
No,
change the
and
source
that's the problem.
material.
They didn't change it, Trey. That's what happened in the book. It
Mm,
was just poorly written.
okay,
But it was just
dang.
like, but you had the opportunity in the movie to do something different and you didn't. You decided to stay pure, which is like fine. I guess like purists like that.
From the pit, right? But it shouldn't happen in the book, so it
No,
shouldn't happen in the movie. Is what you're saying? Gotcha.
and that's another one where it could have all just been one movie at this point. We didn't need two different. So Breaking Dawn Part One, amazing. My favorite one. Breaking Dawn Part Two, don't ever watch it. Just stop it right there.
Trash can juice.
Trash
My
can
boy.
juice. And then, Dre, if we can
Hmm?
get into how TV series will overstay their welcome too. Have you ever,
Walking Dead.
oh my God. Have you ever heard of the show Once Upon a Time?
I actually haven't because I'm not well versed in TV. But how many is it? We talking Young and the Restless?
Yeah, well, they had a,
Right,
which no, Young and the Restless, I can't believe that is still going, but I
man. Look,
soap
there
opera
are
is a
people.
lot different.
Yeah, it's like my grandmother used to watch this when she was alive, and she passed well over 10 years ago, and it's still going on. And it's like, who else people's lives have passed away? They don't even know what's going like,
When I was at my grandma's house the other day, they was watching one, I think it was Young and the Restless, and I was like, oh, that person's still here. I remember them from when I used to live at home and they would watch it. I was like, they're still on the show. Why am I recognizing people?
my stepmom watches it. I asked, I said, have people like I know the fact that it's been running so long and people dedicated to the roles, like when they die in real life, do they just write them out the story? She was like, yeah.
I,
And I think she said some people have died and came back.
yes, they'll have him like fall off a cliff or so. I think that happened to Shamar Moore's character. I want to say that he washed over a waterfall, and it was really ambiguous if he died or not, in case they wanted to bring him back one day. I don't think he ever went back, but I specifically remember them talking about that at the salon because it was huge gossip at the time.
Does he come back as the same character or do they make him a new?
I think when they come back, they usually come back like, oh, I had amnesia and got lost somewhere, but I'm back now.
Gotta be kidding me, man.
I don't talk about job security though.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you always got a job if you say, hey, put me on Young and the Restless.
But I don't like how our our TV series can go for like 8 seasons because then you've
Yeah,
gotten so far. So Once Upon a Time, it started out one way, and seasons 1 through 3 was immaculate. 4 through 8, it's like you're still here, and the
yeah,
series completely different. The characters are brand new. Like we wrapped the arcs that we needed to, and like you're still rambling, much like
right.
The Walking Dead. It started out one way,
Yeah.
and then we just got away from it, and now zombies aren't even the issue anymore. And it's like, but that's why it's in the title.
Why was the thing to begin with? Yeah, that's like so with me, like the series I followed more recently was Power, just off the strength of 50 Cent being my all time favorite rapper and trying to check
Oh,
what he
we'll come
was.
back to that sometime.
We haven't talked about our favorite artists, have we?
Mm-mm.
New video idea that I'll jot down. But so yeah, I checked out Power and season one was good. Season one was two. Season three was just amazing. Season four kind of just melt. It wasn't as exciting as the first three, but it kind of held a consistency. And season five was really good, but they did fit season six. And season six was like, okay, you've overstayed your welcome. Then they get to the end, and it was the closeout. The closeout should have been season five, but the last five they made it 15 episodes as opposed to 10. In the last five episodes, have you seen this movie called Vantage Point?
No.
So Vantage Point is about someone gets sniped, and it was like seven different people that seen it. They're showing the same possibly 15-minute process seven different times. That was what those last five episodes was somebody got killed.
Mhm.
I won't spoil it for those who haven't seen it. And then they show this episode 11 was from this person, 12 from that person, and then 15 you finally see the perspective of the person that killed. I'm like, bro.
Mm.
And then another thing with Power, they started seeing apparitions. It was like when someone passed away, it was like, okay, now they're talking to the ghost of this person. And I'm like, bro, this was not a part of this in the beginning.
It's
It
giving,
was,
what's that
yeah,
one?
I like it because it was based in realism. And even though that's a real thing in terms of like people having encounters with the spiritual, it
Mhm.
was never in the show in the beginning.
Right.
And they added it, and that was kind of what took me out of it. Now Power has spawned its own universe with each particular character having their own stories. Now, I haven't watched all of them, but I'm just talking about the Power series in and of itself. I think it could have stopped at like five and still spawned the shows it spawned, but I think that that was an instance, a smaller instance, not something that did like 10 seasons when it should have stopped at four. Like, yeah, that's just
I feel like that's the golden cutoff because Pretty Little Liars was like this too. Like seasons 1 through 3, amazing. 4 can be the make or break. Anything past that, scrap it. We don't need it. You're not good
right.
at storytelling because you need to be able to wrap it up in so much time.
Oh, I just want to throw in a random commercial break thing, but I'm currently the world champion at my job. Working.
Congratulations.
Back to our regularly scheduled program. Oh, Cat likes it. Sweet. But yeah, let me see. Let's see if what's another movie series that you think I kind of didn't like when they did the Jason Bourne, and then they made that one Jason Bourne where it wasn't even Matt Damon.
Oh,
Yeah, I forgot who was Jeremy Renner actually. Yeah,
oh,
they
that's
made him.
Hawkeye, right?
Yeah, he's actually the guy that had that bad accident. I believe it was the beginning of last year.
Yeah, found himself under a snowmobile or something
Yeah,
wild.
snowplow. I was weirded out reading. I'm like,
Yeah.
how?
How did this happen?
Yeah,
What were you
yeah,
doing?
yeah. Like, did you? Were you? I don't want to make it a joke,
Right, but like
but yeah, it's like, how does this happen? Like,
walk
I had never heard that accident before that day.
right.
Yeah, you know. But yeah, he's allegedly he's doing better. I haven't followed up, but I think they said he was doing better, so good.
He's still with
But
the
yeah, yeah. And I don't. To me, I think the Marvel series kind of got out of control.
Mm.
Even though I think the four Avengers movies are cool, but I think that when they started making Ant-Man and uh to me it was just too much.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't want to spoil it for that one. And I don't even know how many people it is, but I haven't seen much about Ant-Man. And I don't know how many people are genuinely Ant-Man fans or they just went to see it because it's grouped in within the, you know what I'm saying? Like the major players was the Iron Man, the Spider-Man, the Hulk. Give us a Hulk movie. You know, give us a Hulk movie. Give us Black Panther was definitely a good one. Um but yeah, I just think that that kind of got out of control.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's very cash grabby.
yes, exactly. It's like this game that drops DLC season one, DLC season two,
Yeah.
DLC season three, season four, season 10. Why won't you give me a new game for
Yeah.
free since I paid for all this DLC? You
Yeah.
know?
And I think that can be a conversation too when we get into the SAG strike and stuff.
Yes, which is, you know what's funny? That doesn't even hurt me because I'm not much of a TV person, but I probably would hurt you more because it seemed like you follow more things.
I used to when we had cable. Now I don't, so I don't really be watching stuff. But it will affect movies being made too.
Right. Yeah, yeah. And speaking of the movies that get broken into two parts, I just went to see the Across the Spider-Verse. And to get to the end of it, it was a part one. Then the sets, yeah, to be continued. And now the strike is like, oh, I guess the movie's not gonna come out.
Well, you know, it's
Yeah.
it's just it's ridiculous. I think video games might could fit into this too, only because
You
I love
know,
our franchises, but
Assassin's Creed,
that's a different game each time, right?
it is, but you know what? Let's save that for because I can go on a rant about that. But
Okay.
they will drop a good one. But Assassin's Creed shouldn't have dropped like every year. Assassin's Creed should have been something that's like drop it in 2010,
Mhm.
drop another one in 2013, drop another one in 2016. They were going kind of year for year at one point, and it's like, bro, this is not sports. You know, and now, granted, it's a they make a different location, but it's all tied into the same story. You know, some stories are better told when you slow it down as opposed to pouring more into it. But yeah, we'll definitely get into that in the other video.
Okay. I want to point out real quick the Dynasty Warriors franchise overstaying its welcome, just because it is a game
Yeah,
based on historical means, right? So
right,
it's always going to be the same. The characters are always going to be the same. It's always going to be the
right.
Wu, Shu, and Wayne. How many more times are we going to do this? I think we're on Dynasty Warriors 9 or 10 now.
Now, what about Final Fantasy? That's like 15.
Yeah, but that's another one where the story changes. So it's like it's the same name, but it's different characters.
Okay, okay, yeah, okay.
Because I was almost going to get on their head too, but it do be different characters. But
I'm trying to think. Does do my eh, the thing with the stuff that I like, I don't think they get enough.
mhm,
Like The Last of Us. Well, I think they're actually doing it right by taking X amount of years in between. But
yeah,
in Red Dead Redemption, I think they need to learn from that. You
yeah.
know, take this and then do this. But yeah, I let me see.
Kingdom
Pulling
Hearts.
it.
Kingdom Hearts, you've overstayed your welcome. You
This
have
is
it. I'm
from a
just gonna go
Kingdom
ahead.
Hearts. This is from a Kingdom's Hearts lover too. So listen to this.
I Kingdom Hearts 1 was amazing. It was brand new. We had Final Fantasy characters and we had Disney characters interacting with each other. We were playing around in the Disney world with Final Fantasy characters. It was amazing. It blew my mind. The music was incredible. Queen Utada Hiriku, forever our queen. It is amazing. It was a great time. Kingdom Hearts 2 landed. Amazing. It was fun. We couldn't believe it. Kingdom Hearts 3 came. It changed. And
Right.
it changed because there wasn't as many Final Fantasy characters. I think there was something going on in the background to where this one person really wanted to start working on some other game. So they kind of shoehorned that in there. And we were like, who are these people? What are you doing here? And then the Disney, I don't know, like licensing might have changed or something. And so it was just kind of weird to
Man,
where you were just playing
that
the Disney game. It was just, it was done. And then I understand that you're still going and Sora's dead. What are we doing? Sora's the main character. He's who we're here for.
speaking to licensing and where I know this about Dragon Ball Z. They always make a game almost every year. What
Mm,
I found out was I thought they were beating a dead horse. Like Dragon Ball Z is always going to be a good game to put out, but it just seemed like they drop one every year. And then I end up someone told me that within the licensing of the developers, the Bandai Namco,
mhm,
in their contract, they said if they don't produce a game every year, they will lose the license. So
mm.
some of these companies' backs, or maybe the smaller companies' back, are against the wall by the overhead, the paying company, the publishing company, to
Yeah.
say, "Hey, drop that every single year, or else."
Is it a
And
Budokai
maybe
every year?
well, no, it's just any like it just has to be a Dragon Ball game out. That's why they change it. Sometimes it'll be a Budokai, sometimes it'll be a Tenkichi, however. Then it might be a Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, then Dragon Ball Z Xenoverse, it's like that's why they constantly put them out
Dang.
because if they don't, they'll lose the license. So that right there is another issue.
Yeah, I don't like that because it's quantity over quality at that point.
Exactly, and quantity will never be over quality.
Ever.
Oh, let me make sure we're not running out of time. Oh, got 15. Yeah. Well, yeah, let's see if we can get. I'm trying to think of another movie because we'll get stuck in the games.
Right.
Let
Think.
me see, because,
The Saw movies, wasn't there
bruh.
like
Okay, so look, I was a fan of Saw. One, two, three, four, five, six. I liked it all the way up to six. Now, they did one Saw to where I think it was like 2010, and they were doing the traps out in public, like where people could see it. And then someone died in the trap and the blood looked like lipstick. And I said, nope.
not a lip?
Nope. It
What happens
was
to the
like the blood looked like lipstick. I said, nope. And if I'm not mistaken, they do one recently?
I don't even know.
Yeah, like they definitely they got look, they got away with getting a six.
Mhm.
Because you don't typically do that. And some people might was already burnt out with it, but I don't know. I like twisted shit. I think it made sense up to six, but after six, like just know when to shut it down. That's what to me. I think it makes it hold its integrity, and then I think it makes the remake more special because like they'll overstay their welcome, wait some years, and then do a remake. And it's like, bro, I was burnt out
Yeah.
at the end. Like, why would you remake this?
Yeah. I feel
And
like three
see
is the golden number.
that, and that could be a thing too. Like, for me, a remake, if not done right, can add to something overstaying its welcome. Like, why would you make a remake of that?
Yeah. Yeah.
you know? Yeah,
Oh, okay. Speaking of which, we're back on Disney's head.
okay.
All of these Disney remakes, I personally don't mind them. I've enjoyed all of the ones that I've watched, but I get how people are over it.
Yeah, what was those are the two they did recently.
They
They
did The
did
Little Mermaid and
remember
White's on its way.
what was the other one?
Snow White's on its way.
Oh, Snow White's on its way. Is
What's
this
the
not
one?
another one?
I think the one before that was Pinocchio, which I haven't seen.
Yeah, like well, I don't know how many Pinocchio movies were made, but I think it is kind of cool in certain instances where you can say, okay, like I like Aladdin. I feel like Aladdin was cool when I was younger, and I feel like Aladdin would be cool today.
Hmm.
For some the kids today.
Hmm.
So but Disney is just money hungry. So like you just sit up and wondering, is this genuine or is this just oh okay the little not I ain't gonna say the kid the stuff that used to get looked at as it was for kids.
Hmm.
Let's put it out today because those kids are adults and they're trying to capitalize off
The Disney.
things that are dear to our hearts.
Hmm.
And some of us had to feel weird for liking these things. And now that it's cool, it's like, oh, let's cash grab on the nerds, you
Yeah.
know. So
It's really weird because while I guess I get it for Disney being like, okay, The Lion King is a hit, one of the best franchises in the Disney. So they were like, let's bring that into live action. And
right,
I thought it was cool, but I get how people are like, but what if we just start doing brand new things? What if
you're
you
right. That's
you're
that's
writer?
more of the that's more of the scary thing, how trendy people are. It's like they see that this worked. Oh, since that worked, I'm gonna try this. And
Yeah.
now people are jumping off the cliff with it, and it's like, okay, I like this, but all of that could have kept.
Mhm. When we just talked about this recently with video games, how they just stay in a pocket now. They don't be jumping out the window anymore. Just
Yeah, man. Just me thinking about my take the way I took to Horizon Forbidden West and God of War Ragnarok, and those were it. I'm what do you call it? Internal when you call the internal struggle, but it's like those are good games. But it's like playing the first one and bringing it over to the second one. It's like they didn't improve anything. They just take what they did and stretched it out. It's like, bro, you're supposed to separate the wheat from the chaff and make it better,
yeah.
not more of the same. And it's just, I watch a lot of YouTube of a lot of people that are tied to the creative side, and they say that it's like the industry looks at it like because if you make something bad, people we vote with our dollars,
Yeah.
right? So if a movie company goes out and they make something and it takes off, okay, cool, box office kill. They go out and they experiment with the second one and they move too far away from the source material. People are like, I'm not going to see that shit. And it's like, damn, we spent 200 million and it shit made 100,000 back. So they're not gonna do that shit again. So what they're doing is like, hey, you like this? We're gonna give you more of what you like. So it's almost to some capacity. I don't know what to blame because I come from the generation, and I know I'm an old head. I've accepted it. I come from the generation to where thinking, like I said, when I think about the PlayStation 2 era
Hmm.
and why PlayStation 2 was so successful because they were innovating.
Yeah.
They were innovating, but to on the flip side of that, they didn't have to come behind a lot. They came behind Nintendo, Sega, which was very limited technology.
Hmm.
When we got advanced was Nintendo 64 and PlayStation. So it's kind of like an open slate for them to come through and just try this, try that, try this, try that. And then we lived through PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4. Now we're on PlayStation 5, where there's not a lot of room to make new things,
Yeah.
because it's like, where's the idea gonna come from? It's like this idea is tied to that idea, and that idea is tied to this idea. I still think there is room to be creative, but it's what I'm saying is like thinking about it from a historical context. Like after so much time has passed, what can we do new?
Yeah.
So I think that that's kind of the issue, but I don't know. They just I think that's to me that's what the thing of being a creator is. It should be figuring that out. To be a creative, you just have to figure it out. That's why I'm glad I'm not a creator.
Yeah, I guess it does kind of go that way because I guess musical artists could say the same thing and like
Right.
YouTubers, like if you start out one way and you're talking about this and then that's your
Yeah.
audience, if you want to be able to branch off and do other things and explore other avenues, then the people that you were
Yeah.
with get upset
My
and
my
with you.
my an example of that, what you're talking about is Kendrick Lamar. Like I watched people love Kendrick when he was at the beginning, when he came out and he was more of a he kind of rapped about the street. And
Mm,
he still raps about the street, but he raps about it in a metaphoric way. But when he put out To Pimp a Butterfly and the sound went more jazzy,
mm,
like, oh, the people who love Good Kid Mad City say, oh, this was trash because XYZ. Then he puts out Damn, and Damn is kind of more of a commercial type. Then the people who like To Pimp a Butterfly looked at Damn like, oh, this doesn't XYZ. Then he goes from Damn to Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, and then now everybody's kind of like, oh, whatever. It gets critically acclaimed
mhm.
because those are creators grading it.
Yeah,
But we're just talking about the word on the street. It's like, oh yeah, this is trash because XYZ. And it's like, so as a creator, you're sitting up saying you have to go, what do I value more, creating the art or it being monetized? And I
yeah,
think that, yeah, to some capacity, to be a creator, you have to say, you know what, I'm creating what I want to create, not necessarily what's going to fly off the shelf.
yeah,
Not saying you're trying to put out in the trash, but at the same time, you still just it needs to stay more of its integrity of what it's supposed to be, as opposed to what you think other people think it's supposed to be.
yeah.
You know,
I think that's probably the crux of the issue is people get
right?
put in a box, and if you leave that box, then you either have to start all the way over and find a new audience, or they shove you right back in. Because I guess if you're on YouTube and this person's a Let's Player and you're used to watching them play games, but then they want to branch off and start doing something else,
Yeah,
people watching you play games aren't going to like that. So you got to
right.
build all
Exactly.
the way
You
up
can't.
or start a new
You
channel.
just can't. And I think that's the gist. Like you can't please everybody. And
Yeah.
once you realize that, I mean, and we deal with that as being people. It's like,
Yeah.
hey, well, I'm this way, and these people don't like me, and I'm that way, and then you just got like, look, I'm me, and whoever likes it. Whoever doesn't, doesn't.
Yeah, and unfortunately, these movie companies and TV companies and stuff aren't holding that kind of mentality. And maybe if they didn't spend so much on it, because like the Barbie movie,
Right.
they made it relatively cheap and
Right.
amazing. But
That's
now,
probably what they need to figure that out, kind of cheapening things up as opposed to
yes,
opening the checkbook and
because
using what's
everything doesn't
necessary.
need to be, and this is from an animator,
Right.
everything doesn't need to be CGI to hell.
Exactly.
Be practical elements. You can build the set. We don't always need everything to be
Right.
extraordinary. Allow the CGI to do its job in its specific area, unless you're doing an animated movie. But if you're
Right.
not, then kind of like with the Avengers and stuff, where it's just all of this big box office
Right.
stuff. It's like,
Yeah. Michael Bay style where everything's blowing up.
yeah, like it's not needed. And if you are blowing stuff up, you can do practical effects for that, maybe. They used to do
Right.
it all the time back in the day.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. But I think we're getting close to well, yeah, like
Yeah.
4 minutes. And sweet. But I guess
Moral
hey,
of
few
this
people
story.
if we missed. Well not go ahead and say yours.
I'm gonna say the moral of this story is it's okay to let something go when it's at its peak. You don't have to draw it all the way out until it dies and fizzles out. You can just let it go out on a high note.
Yes, exactly. Don't do the Michael Jordan thing where you had the perfect ending and then you came back for the Washington Wizards. But if we missed any movies that you burnt out with, let us know in the comments.
Yes.
Me personally, I know I've been tapped out with movies, so that's a lot of the reason why I'm tapped out is because I feel like I've seen whatever's came out before somewhere else.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I guess we'll have you another episode in 2 weeks.
Two
Peace.